So last night I was out with the family at a birthday party and I come home to find the basement flooded. Well, we're going to talk about what happened and some good tips to hopefully help that not happen to you. So what's going on, guys? Joseph from H2OPlants.com, and today we're not really talking about plants. Today we're talking about filters and kind of what could happen with them. Now, I've had a couple filters in the past fail, whether they just weren't working, something happened where it broke and it started leaking. It's happened, but it's very rare that it does happen, but it will happen. It is a possible situation. So down here in the basement, actually, this started Friday. Jake had come over and he was putting away our shipment of plants and whatnot, and he told me, hey, one of the filters has a slow leak. What do you want me to do? And I told him to change out the base. Maybe the base had he suggested maybe there's a micro crack in it. So I said switch out the base. We had an extra one because luckily one of the filters, this actually Sun filter right down here, that Sun filter, I actually had to replace one of them not too long ago. So I actually had a spare one in the back room that kind of we're just using for spare parts. And that's kind of a good thing to have. If you ever have a filter fail and you get a new one of the same exact kind, make sure you keep those parts because they're very useful to have in tight situations. So what happened is he thought he fixed it. I came down, I double checked it, it wasn't leaking, everything was good. But then yesterday we come home from a birthday party, so a whole 24 hours later, and all of a sudden there is a pool of water right where I'm standing. Unfortunately, I didn't get any footage of it, but it was soaking wet. And I just so happened to notice it because I was upstairs, I came down for like a midnight snack, so it was like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm in the kitchen, all of a sudden I hear kind of like a swishing sound. I hear the filters not, like the filters are normally quiet. Like right now it may sound a little loud and that's because the filter down here, but normally these filters you can't hear them because they're under the water, the output, so they're not breaking the surface. However, when I came downstairs for that snack, I heard the water and I heard that there was a problem, and I looked downstairs and I actually had a couple boxes sitting right underneath where the camera is now, and you could see the difference in color of it being soaked in water. So half of the box was covered, it just soaked up all that water. So I realized, oh God, I have a big problem downstairs. So I came down and I was in my slippers, my pajamas, and I saw the whole floor a pool of water. What happened is this tank actually right back here, the water level was about here. So it was almost a third of the way down, I would say. So we probably lost like 10 to 15 gallons of water on the floor. And that's actually because an O-ring, at least I believe it's the O-ring, wasn't working. This is actually the O-ring that I took out of the filter, but it was just so happened that I had that backup filter that I was able to take the O-ring off of. Even though the propeller stopped working on that old filter, I still had the O-ring, so I switched it out for this one. And this is the old one now. I don't see any visible damage to this and why it would fail, but these things do fail. O-rings, you know, will go bad eventually. That just is the nature of an aquarium filter. It just has problems, especially canisters. They will eventually lose their seals and have to be replaced. Normally it'll take some years, but I probably had that particular one now for 4 to 5 years. So it's been a while that it's lasted. So that's surprising. What would I have done if I didn't have the backup O-ring in place of it? Well, it's always a good idea to have a backup filter, whether it be the same kind of filter or something smaller. On this particular tank right here, I have a little hang-on back filter that I would have used in its place. Had I not had that, I would have switched that out. Now this is much smaller than what this aquarium needs, but it temporarily would have worked. I would have also had another filter from down there, or any one of the other aquariums. It's good to have multiple aquariums, but if you didn't have multiple aquariums, you could always just have a smaller filter in a closet somewhere packaged up. And what you do is, if your filter dies, take that filter out the box and switch out the media, because the media in your filter is still probably good. Put it right in the new filter, and there you go, and you got your whole cycle back up and running. Albeit it probably won't be as efficient. Now, it wouldn't be as efficient as your existing filter, but until you could get a new one or get a replacement parts, whatever you need, and maybe a new O-ring, it would really help out. It's always also good to have a shop vac. Now we have a shop vac back there. I don't know if you can see. Can you see it? Yeah, right there. And the mop came in handy because likely we're on a basement, or we're in a basement, so you know, any leaks, it just kind of sits on the floor and I don't have to worry about it leaking down through, you know, hardwood or anything like that. But if you did have a hardwood floor, you definitely want to mop that up right away. Obviously that's very crucial, and you don't want to damage your hardwood floors. But luckily we were on cement and tiles, so it's all good. And lastly but not least, also make sure that your electrical, I don't know if you can see it right down there, that little bucket with wires in it right now, because I don't know why but the outlets were sitting right on the floor when I came down here in the pool of water. I'm like, oh my god, this is not going to end well. So luckily I didn't get electrocuted. They weren't like soaking enough in the water where they got wet, but they were definitely close to getting so I'm glad that I found it when I did. And always make sure your electrical system is somewhere where it can't get wet. I'm going to actually move those probably up here. I'm going to mount them to the column on the stand, so that way they're not really just falling off there. No, I just wanted to do a quick little video telling you what happened to me this past weekend. That's really it for right now, guys. Let me know your stories of coming home to floods and or stuff. I don't know if I ever told the story. I came home one time and my tank literally cracked down the side, and I came home and half the tank was drained on the floor in my old apartment. Wasn't a good time, but yeah, stuff happens, and this is the aquarium hobby, and you should always expect the unexpected. But let me know down in the comments below what you do to prepare for stuff like this, or have you ever had a situation like I did. As always, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video or learned anything new. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here and want to catch more of our videos, and you can watch either one of these videos, and I will see you next time.